Hello everyone. Today I'm going to review Waitress, which I saw as the first show on my trip to New York this summer, this July. So yeah, I'm just gonna get right into it. It was a really long day for me. I got off my plane at 12:30, went straight to the theater, had my ticket by 1:30, and the show started a little bit after 2. So I get in there, I'm sat down, and I look, and where did it go? I had it. Oh, here it is. And I see I'm going to have an understudy for Earl, Ryan Vasquez, for Earl, which I'm fine, and I'm just like, okay, cool. And then, as the show is starting, not as the show is starting, it gets to be about 2 o'clock, and everybody's like, well, the show's starting late. The God mic comes on, and we're informed that Kimiko Glenn is out, but we get to see Stephanie Torrance, and I found out afterwards when I talked to her at the stage door that it was her very first time ever going on, so it was really exciting, and she found out, like, at places. That's why there was no stuffer in the program. It was a very last minute thing. She was in her ensemble outfit. So, if you don't know the story of Waitress, just, I guess, skip forward in the video or wait to watch this video until later if you don't want to be spoiled. So, the show centers around Jenna, and she is a waitress at a diner somewhere in the South. It's never specified, just somewhere southern. And she works at Joe's Pie Shop. And she has 2 friends. She's got Dawn, who Kimiko Glenn usually plays, and I saw Stephanie Torrance, and Becky. And they're like her waitress friends, and they work there with her, and they have this really great sisterhood thing going on. I'm just going to go through the characters to start out. And then you've got Earl, who is Jenna's husband, and he is really awful for a lot of reasons. He is emotionally and physically abusive to her. Then you've got Joe, who owns the Pie Diner. He's a grumpy, crotchety old man, and Jenna is really the only one who has any kind of relationship with him. He is very just closed off to everybody, and nobody really wants to put up with him but Jenna. Then you've got Cal, and he is the manager at the diner, so he's Jenna, Becky, and Dawn's boss. And you find out fairly early in the show that Jenna has gotten pregnant, and Earl, her husband, is the father. And she doesn't really want the baby. She's really mad at herself for letting it happen, but she's going to have it anyway. She's just not very happy about it. So, cut to her going to visit the doctor, her gynecologist, Dr. Palmer, and they, meet. They've got a really cute scene together when they first meet, and they just basically, they're just setting it up so they can meet. Then she goes back to the Pie Diner, and you find out that Dawn, who was Stephanie Torrance, she is a very mousy kind of character. She's really shy, soft-spoken, really just adorable in every way. She is, adventuring into, online dating. And so she's got this blind date with this guy, and it's a 5-minute date. And so, basically, Becky, who is Kiala Settle, she's, the sassy one, and she's, a little bit older than the other two, and she's, been around the block. Basically, Becky and Jenna give her a makeover for her blind date. And so that happens, and she goes off on her blind date. And then on the way home, she runs into her doctor at the bus stop, and they kind of talk some more, and they find some common ground, and they see, that they've actually got some stuff in common that they wouldn't have thought of, and they really connect over the story that he tells about this waitress that he knew growing up. So, cut to the next day, Dawn's blind date goes really, really bad. And she's like, I hate this guy. He's really annoying and just awful. Not like bad awful, just annoying awful. And he shows up at the diner and is like, I'm not leaving until you talk to me. Which, I mean, it was cute and funny, but I mean, that's not really the way to, you know, get the girl, is to annoy her. But anyway, he sings this great song, and they kind of find something in common with each other, and that kind of sparks their relationship. And then Act 1 ends with Jenna going back to the doctor. She kind of finds a reason to go, and he sees it as a reason to see her again, and just cutting to the chase, they end up having an affair. And that's how Act 1 ends, basically. And Act 2 starts with them, they're still having their affair, and then Jenna catches Becky and Cal having sex in the kitchen of the diner, and it's just like, whoa, 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 and then she gets like all judgy and preachy, and she's just like, you know, affairs ruin lives, and they tear families apart, and blah, 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 blah. And then Becky's just like, oh, no, 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 no. You hold up, okay? I've never judged you for having your affair that isn't publicly known, but, like, we all see you coming back from the doctor with your dress on backwards, and you got, like, all these visits, like, 3 times a week. And she's like, so you're not gonna judge me. And she sings this really, really great sassafras song about how, like, she didn't really plan for it to happen, and it's just a great, great number, and Cal Settle gets to wail. And then, what happens next? I've got to look at the song list. There's a lot of plot in this show, even though it happens over, well, I guess it happens over 9 months. So then, what happens is the doctor comes to see her at her work, and it's like late at night, and she's like, you know, I don't think we should do this anymore. I'm starting to feel really bad about it. And he's like, well, I got you this present, and it's like a really, really nice gold-plated pie dish. And she's like, well, okay, I guess you're pretty great. So they kind of continue their thing, and then cut to, because like I said, this all takes place over about 9 months, because it starts with like Jenna getting pregnant, then the end is when she has her baby. So then Dawn and Ogie, who is the blind date guy, they end up getting married, and they're at the wedding, and everything's great. And then Earl, who is Jenna's husband, storms in and is like, just throws this really big fit, and is like, you need to come home right now. And everybody's like, no, 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 don't go, because they know he's terrible and that he like beats her. And then they go home, and he has found out that she's been hiding money away, because like he's very controlling in their relationship and of the money, and she puts money away, and she's been saving it to go to this pie contest, this pie baking contest, where the prize money is like $20,000, and she's going to use that money to, you know, get out of this horrible relationship and like make a whole new life for herself with her baby. And he finds out, and she lies and says it's for the crib, and it's just a really, really sad moment, because you basically see this character, something in her breaks, and it's really, really just heart-wrenching. Then she starts to go into labor, and she goes to the hospital, and she has her baby, and, you know, she's looking at her baby, and she sees this thing that she's now gotta, like, care for and have her baby's interest at heart, and she basically tells Earl, you know, I don't love you, not that I never have, but I just don't anymore, and I want a divorce. And he gets, like, all defensive and, like, threatens her, and she's like, okay, maybe you don't get it, because you're being, like, threatening to me and my child, but, like, get the fuck out of my hospital room, or I'm gonna have you hauled out. And so he leaves, and it's just like big and empowering. And Joe had come to visit her before because he was having a surgery that day, and then she wakes up, you know, from this like long post-labor sleep, and she finds out that Joe had passed away during surgery, and he had left this card for her, and she opens it, and it turns out that he had left her the pie shop. So she owns the pie shop now, and she's finally got this thing that she's always wanted. And it fast forwards probably about 5 years, and you see like she is now like the owner of the pie shop, and she's still a waitress there, and she's renamed it Lulu's Pies because that's what she named her daughter. And it's just a really, really sweet, happy ending. Oh, and with the doctor, he's the one who obviously delivers the baby, and she tells him, you know, you were exactly what I needed, you know, you were my rock, you were there for me when nobody else was, but, you know, we have to end it because I don't feel right about it. Your wife really, really loves you. And it's really, really interesting because one of the themes of this show is fidelity and infidelity. And anybody with a moral compass knows that obviously cheating at the core is very, very wrong. However, I believe that in certain situations it's okay, especially this one, because even though she was legally married, she wasn't getting any real emotional support at all. And, you know, her and Dr. Palmer, their relationship starts out merely physical. They're attracted to each other. But then it quickly grows into something more because he's somebody that will listen to her and respects her and sees, like, the strong woman that she is. So that ends, and she has her daughter, and she's got this pie shop now, and everything's just really, really happy, and that's how it ends. So now I'm going to talk about this wonderful, 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 amazing cast that I got the pleasure of seeing. Jessie Mueller, Tony Award winner, playing Jenna. Tony Award nominated for this performance, is giving just such a masterclass in this show. Her range is unbelievable. I would go to see her in anything. She's always perfect, and this one, she grabs your heart and just crushes it. And I did not go into the show expecting to be emotionally moved. I'd listened to it before and watched a lot of stuff. I've seen the movie, and so I was not expecting, you know, for it to hit me so hard. But it really, really did. And that's part from her performance. Then we've got Keala Settle. Okay, if you guys do not know who Keala Settle is, I urge you to go on YouTube right now and type in Keala Settle Obsessed and watch her episode of Obsessed with Seth Rudetsky. It's amazing. And then just like watch the clip of the recording session for what's that song again? I forget what it is. Something about joy. I Feel the Joy or something like that from Hands on a Hard Body. Watch that too. Basically, she's just like the go-to one right now on Broadway when they need somebody hilarious who can wail like there's like nobody's business. So she was like the super sassy character, and she got all those like great one-liners, and it's just great. And I loved her, and her song was amazing, and I'll talk about the score here in a minute. And then Kimiko Glenn, who usually plays Dawn, was out, and I got to see Stephanie Torrance. As I said before, it was a last-minute announcement. She was not expecting to go on, but she absolutely knocked it out of the park. Her voice was amazing, and while her performance was different than Kimiko, I'm not saying it was any better or worse. She really just made it her own, and it was great. I really didn't feel like I was seeing an understudy. Not that understudies aren't talented, brilliant people. Brillianted? Brillianted's not a word. Talented, brilliant people. They are, which is what I'm trying to get across, you know, that even though I saw I got an understudy, she gave an equal performance that was just wonderful. And she brought a really, really nice sweetness to the role, and her voice was different than Kimiko's. She sang it with a little bit more power and drive. And then we've got Drew Gelling, who played Dr. Pomander. Really, really funny, really, really nerdy, great voice. Great physical comedy from him too, and just great physical comedy all around, basically. And then Nick Cordero, who usually plays Earl, was out, and I saw Ryan Velasquez, and he was really, really great. That character is just really hard to play because he's very, very unforgiving. He's not very forgivable at all. But Ryan, like Nick Cordero, did what he can with it, and you kind of get to see a little bit of his side and get a little peek into the understanding of why he is the way he is, but it's never really fleshed out, so you're basically left feeling like, oh, he's just an awful person, which he is. But Ryan, that character has one song, which is basically an I Control You song, and it's really kind of uncomfortable, but he added some great new riffs and some runs to it. So that's something. Then Dakin Matthews, some of you might know him from Gilmore Girls. He played Headmaster Charleston, but he's playing Joe, old Joe. He owns the diner, and he was just so great. He had so many great one-liners, and he was just that stereotypical, I'm a grouchy, grumpy old man, and I don't love anybody, but, secretly has, a heart of gold, and he was really, really sweet. Eric Anderson played Cal, who owned the diner, and he is another character who has, a really, really tough exterior, and he's kind of, I'll say the lovable jerk, if that kind of contradicts itself, but he's the lovable jerk because he is always get back to work, get back to work. Why are you just chatting here? Get back to work. But he actually really, really does love the people that he works with, and sees them as a family. And then you've got Christopher Fitzgerald. Okay, so Christopher Fitzgerald with this show is just I'm gonna come into it. I did the reading. I did not do it pre-Broadway. Nobody knows what I'm gonna do with it. And he comes in and he's just how about I just make you all fall in love with me? Because he is so freaking hilarious and so freaking adorable in this part. He plays the nerdy so well. And he's got an amazing voice. He's got 2 really, really hilarious songs. And the audience just loved him so freaking much. He got, he didn't get entrance applause because, obviously the audience, probably 90% of them had never even seen the show before. And after his first song, he got prolonged exit applause. It was what he has done with this, it's not a small role, but it's definitely a featured role. What he has done with this, little teeny tiny featured role is he made it so much more, and he totally deserved that Tony Award nomination, and I personally would have loved to see him win it. So that's about it for the cast. So I'm going to talk about the score. The score is by Sarah Bareilles. And it all sounds very much you're yeah, Sarah Bareilles definitely could have written this. Because she did. But it's definitely very, very stylized to the show, and each character has a really, really distinctive voice. The opening number, What's Inside, that's not the opening number. That's kind of like a prologue. It's Jenna's singing it. It really just sets up the show, and it shows her in her element baking. And then opening up, it's the opening number, it's a typical day at work. Jenna, then you've got the negative, which is a cute trio song between her, Becky, and Dawn, and they find out that she is pregnant. Then she's basically just they're telling her, you've got to leave Earl, and she's it's all gonna be fine. It's all gonna be fine. And she basically just tries to reject the information. And she sings a song called What Baking Can Do, because that's what she does to feel better. Club Knocked Up. It's really, really cute, like 60s, like doo-woppy song. That it's she goes and it's in the waiting room of her gynecologist, and she's called in, and then the 3 other women that are waiting all like get around like this microphone, and it's just like doo-wopping, and it's a cute little like transition song. Then When He Sees Me is the next song, and that's Dawn's big number, and she's singing about, you know, when am I gonna find the right guy? I'm so scared of relationships. Then It Only Takes a Taste is when Jen and the doctor meet at the bus stop, and it's a great little duet between them, and they really connect for the first time. Then, like I said, You Will Still Be Mine is Earl's, like, I'm in control of you song, and it's a good character song, and it makes you really not like him, basically. Soft Place to Land is right after they give Dawn the makeover, and it's really, really sweet, and they're all just kind of, you know, telling each other that I'm glad I have you, and it's almost like a lullaby song. Never Getting Rid of Me is Christopher Fitzgerald's first song. Great, hilarious. He gets to show off so much range. He, like, does some, like, opera-esque singing at the end of it. He does, like, some clogging. It's just really, really funny. And then Bad Idea is when Jenna and the doctor are just like, okay, we're gonna do this thing. I Didn't Plan It, that opens Act 2. That's Keala Settle's big number, and she gets to wail her face off. Bad Idea, that's just a reprise of the earlier Bad Idea, and you kind of get to, that's when you find, or not really, that's when you see, it's kind of a, what's the word I'm thinking of? It's like 3 little vignettes all happening at the same time, and it's like all of the 3 couples. You've got Dawn and Ogie, Jenna and Dr. Pomander, and Becky and Cal, and it's like they're all in the middle of sex, and it's really, really funny. And the audience was dying. You Matter to Me is this really, really sweet emotional duet that Jenna and Dr. Pomander have, and yeah, it's really, really sweet. I Love You Like a Table, that's the wedding between Dawn and Ogie. She Used to Be Mine is Jenna's big 11 o'clock number, and it's right after Earl finds out about the money, and it's really just like the big number that's been promoted from the show, and rightfully so, because it's incredibly moving, and Jessie Mueller acts the crap out of it, and she sings the crap out of it, and it's just gorgeous. Everything Changes is after she has her baby, she finds this new confidence. And then Opening Up, there's a reprise for the finale. Just like everything's happy again. So yeah. Then I'll talk about the set. The set was basically based in the diner. And for exterior scenes, like the house, there would be like walls that would come out, and it's like, okay, the house is just here, the rest is just blacked out. And then for like the doctor's office, it was like, we're gonna roll on